Abortion is healthcare. And abortion access is the law of the land in Ohio.
The election results are in, and it was a big night for supporters of abortion rights. That's where we're starting the show. I'm Hannah Jewell, in for Jeff Pierre, and this is The 7 from The Washington Post. It's Wednesday, November 8th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Abortion rights activists won big victories in 3 states yesterday. In Ohio, voters passed a constitutional amendment to guarantee abortion access. The pro-abortion rights position has now won on all 7 state ballot measures since Roe v. Wade was overturned last year. In Virginia, Democrats took control of the General Assembly. They flipped the House of Delegates and held on to the state Senate. That means they can prevent Republicans from introducing new limits to abortion access. And in Kentucky, voters re-elected Governor Andy Beshear. He's a Democrat who attacked his Republican opponent for supporting the state's near-total ban on abortion. So overall, the results appear to send a signal about voters' feelings in blue states and red states about protecting access to abortion. And that could have big implications for the 2024 election. Number 2. Ivanka Trump will testify in her father's New York civil fraud trial today. This is the case accusing Donald Trump and his business of exaggerating his net worth to get better deals from insurers and banks. Ivanka is not a defendant in the case, but she will be the state's last witness following testimony from her father and 2 of her brothers. The judge will then have to decide whether to impose any penalties. And in other Trump news, the former president will skip a Republican primary debate in Miami tonight. He's planning to host a rally nearby instead. You can watch the debate from 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC News. Number 3. Israel's endgame in Gaza is no clearer after a month of war. On Monday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was interviewed on ABC. He said that Israel would be responsible for Gaza's security after the war for a, quote, indefinite period. That seemed to suggest an on-the-ground military occupation of the Palestinian territory. And this is something that U.S. officials have said Israel should not do. Meanwhile, in the U.S., the House of Representatives voted yesterday to censure Michigan Democrat Rashida Tlaib over her comments about the war. She's the only Palestinian-American member of Congress. Tlaib defended herself in an emotional speech on the House floor yesterday, saying that, quote, Palestinian people are not disposable.
We are human beings, just like anyone else. My city, my grandmother, like all Palestinians, just wants to live her life with freedom and human dignity we all deserve. Speaking up to save lives, Mr. Chair, no matter faith, no matter ethnicity, should not be controversial in this chamber.
The Supreme Court seems ready to support gun bans for domestic abusers. That's number 4. The court heard oral arguments yesterday in a case about restricting gun possession for people who are under protective orders in domestic violence cases. Justices from both sides of the court's ideological divide seemed to agree that such restrictions were constitutional. They'll issue their ruling on the case later in this term. This case is the first big test of a ruling from last year. That required judges to decide challenges to the Second Amendment by finding examples in history. At number 5, northern Greenland's ice sheets are rapidly retreating. New research brings a worrying sign for the planet. The vast floating ice shelves of northern Greenland have lost 35% of their total volume since 1978. These ice shelves hold back glaciers from flowing into the sea, and if more of them are lost to warming oceans, it could lead to significant sea level rise. And in related news, last month was the planet's warmest October on record. And this month has already been unseasonably warm for November. Nintendo is making The Legend of Zelda into a live-action movie. That's number 6. Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of the wildly popular video game series, shared the news with fans yesterday. He said that he's been working on the film for many years, but added that it will still take time to finish. This movie could be tricky to pull off. For one thing, the main character in the video game, Link, doesn't speak out loud, so it's hard to imagine him as a leading man. And the games are famous for letting players choose their own pathways, so some fans say they're worried about how the game will be adapted to the big screen. Cats might be more affectionate and articulate than we thought. That's number 7. Researchers watched 150 hours of videos of cats to learn more about how they express themselves. They found that cats can make nearly 300 facial expressions. The researchers studied how the cats moved their ears, wrinkled their noses, parted their lips, and licked their faces. Then they labeled each face either a friendly or an unfriendly expression. So if you're curious about what your cat is saying to you, here's what to know. If cats are happy or having fun, they typically move their ears and whiskers forward and outward. When cats are unhappy, they typically move their ears backward and flatten them. Or, of course, they swipe you in the face. So go and have a word with your cat. Hopefully he or she is pleased to see you. All right, you're all caught up. If you're a Washington Post subscriber, you should know that your subscription comes with some new perks. You can get access to Washington Post podcasts ad-free in Apple Podcasts. And we'll have more fun stuff around the corner. So be sure to find the Washington Post channel in Apple Podcasts and connect your Post subscription. And then stay tuned for more subscriber-only audio benefits like exclusive and early access episodes. If you're not a subscriber to the Washington Post, this is a great time to start. You can subscribe in Apple Podcasts by looking for the Washington Post channel or through the link in our show notes. I'm Hannah Jewell, and I'll meet you back here tomorrow.